The dairy industry is milking America in the form of taxpayer-funded subsidies and externalized costs. Please learn about the negative impacts of dairy and sign the petition to end dairy subsidies at gotmilked.org. Continuing to subsidize the dairy industry is like subsidizing old gas cars to prevent improved vehicles from succeeding in the free market. These subsidies are unfair to taxpayers, unfair to innovative producers, unfair to millions of animals, and unfair to all Americans. Your signature can help change that at gotmilked.org.
When we're young and growing up, everybody wants to try to feed people dairy products and make sure you have milk every day, but the science really now is at a point where that cannot be sustained. There is ample evidence from wonderful investigators like T. Colin Campbell, who clearly showed that casein, which is the major protein in milk, is really one of the strongest promoters of cancer.
I mean, it's the most perfect food for cats. And trying to switch the milk of one species to another species doesn't make a lot of sense.
Dairy really should be out.
Cow's milk is baby calf growth fluid. That's what the stuff is. There's absolutely no child or human on earth who actually needs the milk of a cow any more than they need the milk of a giraffe or a mouse.
Cow's milk is for cows. I'm not a cow.
My name is Dr. Milton Mills. I am an internal medicine and critical care physician, which means that I run an ICU when I'm at work, take care of people who are very, very sick. Cow's milk is a liquid secretion made by the mammary glands of a cow that is designed to help a baby calf grow. It is not meant for humans to be ingesting it. Cow's milk has been shown to have high levels of estrogen, growth hormones that promote disease over the long haul.
Researchers have studied bone development in kids and whether they get stress fractures and that kind of thing. And the kids who drink the most milk have zero protection. Milk does not build strong bones. Harvard researchers have looked at a large group of older women. Over an 18-year period, the milk drinkers had zero protection from fractures. So this old notion that somehow milk is going to build strong bones or protect your bones later in life, it's a myth.
Milk does a body good is not science. It's marketing. It's nonsense. There's absolutely no study, no science to support that. That's a slogan.
So why does the US government recommend dairy then?
It's all marketing. They recommend dairy because the dairy lobby lobbies them to encourage it. But there's literally no physiologic reason. There's no scientific reason. The idea that dairy foods are a good way to get your calcium is completely wrong. It is marketing. It's not science. And I've heard people say, well, you know, milk has phosphorus and magnesium and other nutrients in it. And I tell them, drinking milk for the nutrients is like inhaling cigarette smoke for the oxygen. It's not a good idea.
In the 300,000-year history of modern humans, the earliest people drank milk from other animals was only 10,000 years ago. Humans are the only species that drinks milk after infancy and the only ones that take milk from other animals. And we aren't even meant to consume high amounts of protein. Human milk is perfectly designed for us and has the lowest protein amount of any mammal's milk.
This is not a food that was ever designed to be inside a human being. Because you've got these cows, they're pregnant, they're lactating at the same time, so the female hormones in a dairy cow are really, really high. And so you've got things like estrogen, which is in the milk. What this also does is it will grow cells that are abnormal really quickly.
That's probably one of the reasons why it is associated with hormone-sensitive cancers. So that's your prostate cancer, breast cancer.
Definitely a very strong link with prostate cancer, possibly even stronger than there is with smoking and lung cancer. It's full of stuff that blows up a small calf into a huge cow.
The amino acids that come from animal sources tend to make our cells rev up and multiply faster. For example, there is accumulating evidence that high consumption of proteins from dairy sources is related to a higher risk of prostate cancer. That chain of cancer causation actually seems pretty clear.
We've seen dramatic increase in consumption of animal foods over the last 75 years. The problem is, the clinical literature says, in hundreds of peer-reviewed published studies, consumption of animal foods, especially at the high levels in which we engage in this country, causes disease. Just as that literature predicts, we're seeing high rates of disease in this country today. 1 in 3 Americans is obese, 2 in 3 Americans are overweight, 1 in 3 has heart disease, 1 in 9 has diabetes. We have about almost 3 times the rate of cancer as the rest of the world in this country. We have some of the highest incidences of these particular diseases on the planet. Because those diseases are caused by animal foods, and because our consumption of animal foods is caused by their artificially low prices, we can actually say that the economic force involved in driving those prices down is causing us to suffer from disease.
People that drink milk have higher rates of hip fractures, have more cancer, and live shorter lives.
Why would you promote anything that's been associated with any kind of cancer?
The dietary guidelines need to be changed so that the dairy recommendation is removed entirely.
You've just learned about just a few of the problems with taxpayer-funded subsidies artificially increasing our country's production and consumption of dairy products. If you don't want your taxes being used to perpetuate these grave problems, please learn more and sign the petition to end dairy subsidies at gotmilked.org. Gotmilked.org.